more love, more joy, everything.
It's inspired young people.
Inspiration comes from within you. When you clear out the garbage that's in your mind, you then create space for something better, more beautiful to come in.
Let's have life and have it more abundantly.
I say yes.
It's like taking a workshop. I get to be in my pajamas.
We have a very active imagination, which is why it's important to learn how to harness it and then point it in the direction you want to go.
I listen to your show every day.
It's time now for Living Your Inspired Life with Susan Burrell. Susan is no-nonsense, inspirational, motivational, and fun.
This is positive talk radio.
Practical wisdom for everyday life.
It's a gift you give yourself.
Now, here's Susan.
And welcome to Living Your Inspired Life. You're listening to News Talk 1590 KVTA, and we're here every Sunday from 10 to 11. So if you haven't heard us before, you can go to the website livingyourinspiredlife.org and tune in and tune up to develop your power perspective, because we are here to inspire you to live the life you've always dreamed of, the life you were born to live. And so with that in mind, the whole inspiration theme, I have a really awesome powerhouse of a woman, and she happens to be a friend of mine. I'm so grateful, who's on the show today to talk about inspiration. Gino Walker. Gino, thanks for joining me.
Susan, thank you so much for having me. It is absolutely my pleasure to be here with you.
So you
are phenomenal.
Oh, I love you. I just want to let everybody know that you are really, I've seen you perform in person. Gino is an inspirational artist, a singer that is just, she rocks the house and raises the roof. And she's also a great speaker and spiritual teacher, which is why we're friends.
That's right.
Now you have I get chills just thinking about this. I really honestly do. And I get a little bit teary. So everybody has to bear with me. Gino has started a campaign. So you took up a challenge that somebody said to you, and I want you to share with everybody what the campaign is.
The campaign is called 2 Million Downloads of Inspiration. A friend of mine charged me to reach 1 million people. And initially, I just blew it off. And then, the light came on. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And so when I sat in it, what flowed for me was that I love the Internet, the wonderful tools that it provides, the ease and grace. And so I wanted communities to start recognizing that instead of complaining about what the Internet is not about,
right,
let's utilize it for what it can be about. Let's inspire. And I love inspiring people. And so that fire lit in me can we inspire the world for 40 days? Can we reach around the globe to people and inspire them? So I created a video from one of my songs, and it's very simple. You watch it, download the song, share it, pass it on. It's been amazing. I have a blog as well. I blog every day that is attached to the 2 million downloads of inspiration. And it's really been a joy to see people having a vehicle to talk about something on the Internet beyond, I had lunch at so-and-so place today, and they ate cranberries, and I had peanuts.
Yeah, I agree with you. So this campaign that you've decided to do began June 1st, and it goes for 40 days.
Yes, till July 11th. I like all the ones.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Isn't it? It's really cool. I was like, oh, look at that.
So what you're asking people to do is go to your website, ginosings.com, and download the song, which we're going to listen to later in the show today. And the song is called Everything is Possible. And then pass it on to friends, right?
Yeah, pass it on to your family and friends. There's a video that you can watch that it's about remembering that we have dreams. And without those dreams, you clog the process of the world expanding, because your dream is important. You are important to the essence of this whole expansion that's taking place. And I just think that that's super powerful. It just rocks my world to know that each and every one of us, we're a part of the expansion of what's happening. Either we're voluntarily getting in or by default. Let's not do it by default anymore. Participate, get in, get your juices flowing.
Well, it sounds like when whomever this was that challenged you said, "Why don't you do it?" And when you said, "Oh yeah, well," and you blew it off, it's like you woke up and went, "Wait a minute, this is my opportunity. This is my opportunity to really put my money where my mouth is," in a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I agree with you. I think it's very important for us, and this is what we talk about on Living Your Inspired Life all the time, how we are all on this planet interconnected. Yeah. Interconnected, but interconnected, because there is this Greg Braden calls it the divine matrix. There is this connectivity that we all have, no matter race, creed, or sexual preference, or where you live on the planet. We are all connected. So whatever happens on one side of the world definitely affects us here, and vice versa. So passing on inspiration, I think, is really, I love it, Gino. I love the idea of passing it on so everybody can truly see how connected we are.
And the other thing is that people don't realize the importance of it, because it's not a tangible thing so much that you can grab and take with you. It's a feeling that inspires you to do or to take another step or to hear something differently. And, right now, I believe that the consciousness of the universe is really shifting. So for me, I believe that the chaos that we see sometimes in the very tragic events that are taking place right now, that are really in the forefront, is the last bit of chaotic thinking and separatism that we have been living with and identifying ourselves with, that is starting to shift.
I totally agree with you.
Oh, that's why it's so important not to take our eye off the prize right now. And that's living from within. That's really living from a higher space of awareness that this invisible presence is more important than what we can see. It's more important than what we can touch. It's more important than any circumstance that we're in. And it is definitely a different way of living, a different way of thinking. But we've been doing this old thing for a long time.
Uh-huh. And you know what? I don't know that, we've talked about this before on Living Your Inspired Life. I think the old way of thinking, the old way of reacting, the old way doesn't work anymore. And the issue is, for many people, is, okay, so then what works?
Right.
And we don't know that yet. We're the ones that get to create that, what works.
Exactly. Exactly. How fabulous is that? And, in the midst of that, just like with anything, when you're going through, as I was giving birth to this, it's a very simple idea. But in order for it to actually come to fruition, I had to get some old thinking out of my way.
Oh, like could you give us an example of how you did, what it was and how you did that? Because I think that helps people.
Well, the appearance showed up as waiting, because this has been in the making for a little over a year.
Uh-huh.
And there were all different types of obstacles. First it was video and getting somebody to shoot the video, and then it was financial, and then it was getting it edited, and there were all these things. And with each step, I started saying to myself, because sometimes it would be months and
right.
nothing was happening.
Right.
From my eyes, I'm calling people. What are we doing? What's going on? And I started saying, okay, because the system was to look outside and say, why aren't they doing this? They said they were going to do this. Why aren't they showing up? And I had to start looking inside and saying, where am I not big enough to own this? Where is it that I'm saying that I don't have it because I don't have it in my hand right now.
Mm-hmm.
To own something in your heart and spirit costs you nothing, but it is a commitment. And so I had to unplug from what they weren't doing and start looking at what I was saying to myself, what I was feeling about it. If I felt anxious, if I felt like, oh, this ain't never going to happen, if I felt that it was stupid, if I felt that nobody's going to get it, anytime I felt those feelings, I had to clean that up within me. And needless to say, as I cleaned that up, things started unfolding without me having to try to make it happen.
To do anything, right?
To do anything. The universe, people call and say, hey, you know what, I have time to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, okay, I can do that too. And there was a lot more joy. And I went through the process several times. It wasn't...
Like every time you didn't get a return phone call, all right?
Exactly. Oh, I'm back there again. Damn, how did I get back there again?
Yeah.
But starting to understand that, oh, wait a minute. I've practiced this anxious, let me make it work, let me struggle through it way for a very long time. There's momentum that's around it. It's what I know. So when it doesn't happen the way I think it should, default thinking comes right in, and the struggle and the fight would happen. So I said, you're just learning to practice living differently. And that's beautiful in its own right, because it's not about doing it once or twice. It's about living from an inspired way, living from a way that takes you from not looking at the circumstances, but honoring the circumstances, because it's requiring you to do something differently.
Right. And possibly to grow.
Yes.
And you know, as you're saying this, I'm also hearing that that like in this particular process you just went through with getting the 2 million downloads of inspiration set up, that there were many times that, and not so much that it looked like obstacles once you became aware of it, but that there was these places where things stopped or seemingly stood still. And when you sat down and said, okay, what else is it that I am not willing to accept about this idea or myself, then the doors opened up. And I think that's important for people to understand, because I think when we think we've opened up the door, right? Now I figured out what I was thinking about or feeling that was in the way. Now it's all going to flow.
Right.
Well, no. Then the universe gives you the opportunity to to practice that until that new way of being, that new way of living life, like you're saying, becomes more of your default instead of the old way.
Absolutely. And that's what you want at the end of the day. When I look at things that are happening in our world, movies that are being made that really, for me, want to take us back to history. The old phrase, you got to know where you've come from in order to know where you're going. I want that to be crossed out.
Really?
Yes, I want that phrase to be crossed out, because it keeps us connected to an old paradigm that isn't working. You don't have to know what has happened in the past in order to move forward. What we tend to do is to stay focused on the past,
right.
So we keep creating what happened in the past.
That's right. And and it's so frustrating to run into that in my personal life, and then people that do that they're you're absolutely right. It's almost like if you learn about what the past was, then whatever emotions that triggers in you, because you're a human being experiencing whatever the emotions that were occurring during the time that the historical thing happened, whatever war it was or whatever injustice it was, then we as human beings tend to think, oh, then that's real. I feel that. Then I want that, whatever, taken care of or justified or vindicated or blah, blah. Because I know this in my personal life. And what I'm coming to realize is that it's just what you're saying, Gino. It's that, no, I just get to notice that affected me, and I need to let that emotion move through me, experience it, and have it move through me so that I can make a better choice in my life to make a difference so that that history does not repeat itself.
Exactly.
But you don't do it from anger and fear, which is a lot of what's happening right now in the world. Everything's amping up that way.
Well, I think a lot of things, especially when you look at, there are people that say, you just can't close your eyes and stick your head in the sand. There are shootings. People are killing needlessly. Students are doing things on school campuses, and people are hurting their children, and just all the things that usually that type of consciousness, human consciousness, wants to go to and focus on. And in no way am I saying that is not happening, and I'm not saying that we should not take a look at it. But I am saying that the way we have been taking a look at it continues to perpetuate what it is, that whole feeling tone of I'm less than, I'm not loved, I don't have, I'm hurt, and I must hurt others. So we give them no support, we give our universe no support when we stand in the space of that anger and frustration. We only keep it going.
Right. It's interesting because I have in front of me a quote from the Abraham Hicks work that is kind of, this is more about the individual, but I think it addresses what you just said about the global situation.
Yeah.
And so they say, complaining about anything holds you in the place of refusing to receive the things you've been asking for.
Yeah.
Justifying about anything holds you in the place of refusing to let in the very things you've been asking for. Blaming someone holds you in the place of refusing to let in the things you've been asking for, feeling guilty, feeling angry. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's a refusal and not a conscious one. You're asking, you can't help but ask. The universe is yielding. It must yield. But the big question is, why aren't you letting it in?
Absolutely.
And so,
Absolutely.
and it's true with all this, the violence that we're witnessing, not only in our country but around the world. There is that other question of, instead of blame, because the first thing people want to do is run to the blame, the shame, the anger. That's let's point the finger or the gun or whatever over there. Instead of doing exactly, so I'm going to bring it back to you, Gino.
Okay.
You're my guinea pig. But doing what you did when you realized that this idea of inspiring people globally was going to be bigger than what you thought you could handle or be. When we come back to our individual selves, instead of saying, okay, it's the bad thing over there, or it's the history that occurred, or I can't help it because it's in my genetics, or my family did this to me. I am not discounting the people that have experienced that. And certainly you and I have had parts and pieces of those things in our personal lives.
Correct.
What I'm saying is that instead of holding on to the anger, like they're saying, like Abraham Hicks is saying, blaming someone holds you in the place of refusing to let in the things you're asking for. And it takes a really conscious effort to shift your perception a few degrees to see beyond that, to see that really, and it does take what you were saying you did, Gino, going within, right?
Yes, going within. And one of the other beautiful things is when you recognize that you're identifying with something that is less than you. The moment you identify with it, it means that you are it. That was huge for me, because recognizing that if I identify with things that I don't want, but I identify with it, then I am one with it. I'm it. And it's a big pill to swallow.
Oh, yeah.
But where we are going in consciousness, no longer can we continue to use they to look out at the world and say, it's not supporting me.
Right.
We just can't continue living from that place anymore. It's not enough. And the mentality of gotta go, gotta get the hamster mentality.
Right.
We went through that, all the things. Let me get the things, let me get the toys, let me get this. Still not enough.
Right, and that's the wake-up call right there. Well, if I have everything and and it's still not enough, I'm
Right.
still not enough, then what's the issue?
Yeah, let us go. Let us go deeper. And so, I was sharing with someone that at this time in the universe, there are more people that are leaving than ever before.
Yes, I've been noticing that.
And I said, thank you. That's great, because the ones that are saying, you know what, I can't deal with it. I'm not ready. I don't want to participate in this new shift of consciousness that's taking place, that's happening. And I don't want to do it. So thank you. Move on to the next level so that you can participate from there with a higher energy and a greater understanding.
Mm-hmm. I'm also seeing people that are making their transition that have done all they could up until this point in their life.
Yes.
And whatever age they've been, I know several. There's a big spectrum right now,
Yes.
and whatever age they are when they make that transition, some of these people that I've witnessed, I've done everything I could.
Yes.
For me, for my family, for my friends, for whatever the particular focus was, and now I'm done. And, so in many ways, so we were talking earlier about the past. In many ways, what has come before is exactly needed to happen so that we could stand on that and say, okay, we have experienced all this spectrum of life for the last 2, 3, 4,000 years. And here we are at a seeming precipice of humanity and environmental global issues. And I say seeming because I think what you're talking about, Gino, is if we can begin to remember how to inspire ourselves from the inside out, we can begin to shift the consciousness, the awareness on the planet globally within humanity to make the changes that will happen more rapidly, like you just said,
They are.
in getting your project done. As soon as you realized what it was you were holding on to or what emotion was triggering you into the past, the default, as soon as you let that go, then everything started flowing in again, right?
Absolutely.
And that's important for people to know.
It is. I also want people to really know clearly that all the things that were happening, they were gifts. Every obstacle, every situation, I believe that they are gifts because they're opportunities for us to expand who we are. I don't think anybody came here to be the same. If a baby never walked, who would sign up for that? Who would be like, yeah, I'll be a mama or a daddy?
Oh, really? Please, I know.
I mean, if they stayed the cuddly little forever, I don't think we'd have that many births going on right now. Change is constant, and it's a beautiful thing.
Well, we're structured, what do I want to say, physiologically to mature. Our bodies mature, our cells mature, our brains grow. And in that maturing, everybody goes, oh, well, now I'm finally an adult. I'm mature. Well, no. It keeps going for the rest of our lives because then the physical and the brain is all set up. But then our heart keeps leading us into, okay, but there's more. What else am I here to learn? What else am I here to know?
There's so much more.
So, I'm sorry?
I would just say there is so much more. There's so much more to us than this physical being that we call ourselves, our personality, this person, Gino. There's so much more than just what you see on the surface.
So Gino, I want us to play your song. So part of the song is called Everything is Possible. I want us to play it because this is the song that when you go to ginosings.com, you can download it and then pass it on to everybody. And I want everybody to hear it, and then we're going to take a break. But let's listen to the song right now. Everything is Possible. Gino Walker, Everything is Possible. Gino, that, I love it. And I love that song. So you're listening to Living Your Inspired Life. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Susan Burrell from Living Your Inspired Life. I always find it easier and more fun to expand my life by being connected to open-hearted, like-minded people committed to being on the same path I am. If you feel the same way, I suggest you visit a Center for Spiritual Living. There are wonderful communities in Ventura, Ojai, Santa Barbara, Oxnard, Pleasant Valley, Camarillo, and Westlake Village. You'll find terrific people, great information, and more tools to help you live the life you were born to live. So go to csl.org to find a center near you. That's csl.org for a center near you.
And welcome back to Living Your Inspired Life. I'm Susan Burrell, and we are talking today with Gino Walker, who has taken up a challenge. And I so love that you're doing this, Gino. 2 million downloads of inspiration. And the song that we were listening to before break is the song that everybody can download. Everything is Possible. And then you're asking people to then pass it on so that it goes around the globe.
Absolutely. It goes around the globe. And, as the idea was unfolding, it just kept expanding. And so the other pieces that are involved with this is that I started thinking, wow, a lot of the wonderful centers that I go to and sing and centers that people have accessible to them that can help them make changes in their life. Why not include them? Why not get those centers involved? The Center for Spiritual Living in Ventura, the Unity Center in Ventura, and then another one, Vision in San Diego, just to mention a few. That when I went to them and approached them about participating, I was so fired up because a lot of times in different congregations, you have one or two people that may be on the internet in the church that are doing things with the church. But for the most part, the congregation's not participating. They're not sharing. They're not talking about this place that is feeding their spirit and their soul, that's helping them live life differently and live it at a higher level of enjoyment. And so when I went to them, I said, hey, use me. This is an opportunity for people to have something to share, to inspire others to participate in their life and to change things that are happening that aren't working for them, to find a new door to open. So it really blossomed into this beautiful, beautiful service that also Save the Children will receive proceeds from the download, as well as there's a wellness fund that the wellness fund kind of started. I have some friends that are not experiencing health well, and I wanted to support them in a positive way in helping them have wellness. And so finance is always a part of that.
Right.
So I love the fact that it started out where I was just participating in reaching $1 million to then getting other centers involved where everybody's has gotten excited and understand, like, wow, we get to play on the internet. We get to share something that we love, a way of living that we're doing, and we get to have conversation about this. Let's go beyond the pictures of my dog and my cat or who I'm dating, and let's really talk about something that opens my spirit up to start living life from a different place.
And I love that you have made a commitment to have a portion of the money that comes in from the 2 million downloads of inspiration to go to Save the Children and a wellness fund, because that also, I think, is the new paradigm we're living in, is that so let's just go with me, Gino, if you will. But, on Living Your Inspired Life, we've talked about this idea of giving in a way that you have no expectation of return.
Yeah.
And so while you can look at it as I'm going to download everything as possible and have that for myself to listen to and be inspired by on a regular basis, and that money is also going to help somebody else, I think that's the new paradigm. What can I do besides inspiring myself, besides trying to figure out how I want to live my life, that also helps someone else to be inspired? So it's not just passing on the song, it's the downloading of it that will also then provide funding to help others that we will never meet. We'll never know. We'll never see in our lives. And that's the whole global community right there. I love that idea.
Absolutely, because it reminds us that we are all in this thing together. And if you lift one up, you lift up all. So what an amazing way to lift the consciousness of how we're going to participate on the Internet, first. Number two, doing the download, spending 99 cents, we spend that throughout the day several times.
Yeah.
Through the course of our day, with a cup of coffee here, some water there. And it is going to, and also then number three, to plant the seed in your mind to start dreaming again, to start participating in living from a space of being inspired and not just making it through the day. And here's a community now. That's energy. Here's a community of people that are, this is the focus. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about our dreams. We're talking about things that open our heart space. We're talking about things that inspire. We're talking about a possibility.
Yeah.
How powerful that is, that you can go to a place that on the Internet that possibilities are there available for you to spark you.
I want to share another quote just because you're inspiring me. And this is by Martha Graham, who was the pioneer of modern dance in the last century, one of my people that I just really admire. And she said, there is a vitality, a life force, an energy, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through another medium and will be lost. And I think that's true. It's like, and to go back to the beginning of our conversation when you said that you realized this was yours to do.
Yes.
This was, and the thing I love about your song, sorry, I'm just bragging on you now, but the thing I love when listening to your song is it becomes kind of a mantra, if you will, or it's an affirmative prayer that then during the day, as I listen to the song, I have everything is possible, the tune and the phrase running through my mind. So when I come up against my own personal life obstacles, I can just replay that music and your words in my head and go, oh, that's right. Everything is possible.
Everything is. Everything is. And it is a reminder, and we do need those reminders throughout our day because life is constantly moving and it has sped up. And if we don't have tools that we can fall back on, if we don't have things that we can lean on when our world has been shaken, and those times will come, it's just part of the process, that we can fall into a hole and spend a long time there. Because when things happen in your world that shake you, you have to have tools, things that you can reach out that can remind you of your greatness, remind you of your power, and remind you that you're not alone.
Right.
That this too shall pass, and that you have everything within you to move beyond this.
You know, and I totally agree with you. And I know that there's many people, myself at times, I'm sure you as well, you know, over the last many years, we go into those dark corners, those dark places where, because life just seems to be bumping up against us a lot. Or at least that's my experience, bumping up against me. And earlier you were saying, you know, those obstacles are gifts. Boy, when I get bumped up by life, it's like, I don't want to see it as a gift. I don't want to know that that's a gift. Are you kidding me? That's a gift?
Yeah,
and I go through this whole conversation and argument in my head, like, no way. Of course, that's after either I've yelled and screamed or cried or, you know, whatever it is, had the emotion about it.
Exactly. And you got to have that as well. But after you do all of that, coming back to a space of being centered, recognizing that because of this obstacle, because of this situation, you now have an opportunity to do something differently. Because what worked in the past isn't working now. So now I'm going to have to expand the way I think. I'm going to have to utilize a different channel. And that in itself embraces you to a whole nother level of living. And I think that's powerful.
Yeah.
I think it's magnificent because each time you shift your awareness, Marianne Williamson once said, if you want to have a miracle, shift your perception.
Right.
And I love that because as simple as it's stated, that can be challenging in the midst of the storm. But when you do it, the storm then becomes a beautiful field of lilies.
Mm-hmm.
Because you go, oh, I made it through.
I made it through. And you're absolutely, I totally agree with you. It does feel like a miracle sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I work with clients and oftentimes, you know, and I tell them what I have to tell myself all the time. You know, I don't got it wired, but, you know, I have one client who's really trying to get this big project off the ground and funded. And it's been really a challenge and very, very hard. And the thing that I notice is there's a place, there's like a space in between the setting the intention to say, this is what I want, and creating enough space in between so that the universe can show up and say, okay, so here's the people you're going to need to do that. Or here's the way you need to go. Here's the street you need to turn down or whatever. And we're, like you said earlier, we are so busy doing, getting the thing, that we don't take time for that space just to open up a little bit so we can allow the synchronicities, if you will, which I don't necessarily believe in. What I believe is that everything happens for a reason. But we can allow those perceptions to shift and the miracle to show up. It's when we are trying to force the universe now. This is what I don't think works anymore, is trying to force the universe to do our will.
Right.
I don't know that it ever worked, but certainly in my life it's not working at all. So when I'm able to let go of the thing, you know, to set the intention, here's what I want, and then I have to let it go. I have to just not even put it over on the side burner, you know, and then check, is it boiling? I mean, literally just send it out the window. That's it. And I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to stress about it. That's when things show up. It's when I constantly keep checking. Is it boiling? Is it ready?
Absolutely.
Where is it? How come it's not there? Oh my gosh, it's never happening.
Absolutely. You know, it's like I remind myself that it's a seed that I'm planting.
Right.
And so when you plant the seed, you put the dirt on it, you water it, and you're done. Now, the seed does the work. It does the work. It's within me. It's doing the work. But when I remove the dirt, that's doubt.
Yeah.
Is the seed in there? Oh, okay, yeah, it is in there. Then I put the dirt back on. I got to start the process all back over.
All over again.
All over again. And not only that, then you send that doubtful energy out, and every other person that's living in that doubtful energy shows up at your doorstep.
Oh.
They show up in line with you. They show up in the car next to you, and you're bumping up against that. And, you know, it's not always easy to let it go, But when you can truly let it go, the universe comes in with such grace and ease, and things unfold in ways that you could never, ever dream of.
I really agree with you that you do have to watch when those doubtful people show up, because that's a great mirror for you to
Absolutely.
realize that, wow, there's something in me that I got to pay attention to, because I may be doubting myself again.
Absolutely.
And they
They're
show up to
reflecting you.
test you. Right. And I'm grateful for those people. I got to tell you, Gino, and everybody, I just finished a 7-day detox cleanse. I dropped 10 pounds. It was intense.
Wow, how beautiful.
It was wonderful. It was terrible. I mean, but the result is I feel better. My health is recovering, all that good stuff. So I showed up at the gym this morning to work out, start my workout routine again. And this older gentleman, thinking he's being very funny, and I bless him. I bless him every time I see him. He said, well, that's just water weight that you lost. I was like, and I went, you know what? Not going there. I said, thanks for, I just smiled. I did not allow that doubt to come into my mind and go, oh, maybe it is, because, oh no, now I'm going to start. I had to really be vigilant about, nope, what I just did really helped me, and I know I can continue on.
Absolutely.
And it's not, it doesn't matter what it was that I lost,
No, because we get to say what it is.
Exactly.
And, we get upset with the outside world, but it's our own thinking about what the outside world has said that keeps us out of our joy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crazy game that we play with ourselves. If someone makes a statement to you that's like, oh, that doesn't reflect me, that's where they're living at it with.
Exactly.
But more times than not, we take it in, we start putting pillows around it and making it comfortable, and then becoming upset because it's a statement that doesn't make us feel loved or appreciated, or doesn't make us feel that the goal that we have set forward is happening. And you have to realize that that's your inner conversation that you're having. They can show you where you're living that. You don't have to own it and identify it. It's just simply an experience, and let it pass through.
Yeah, one of the things that I learned by doing this detox, I was really amazed at myself, is toward the end of it, when I was not feeling so good, right? There, right. I realized I was sitting down to just kind of figure, okay, what do I want? Coming toward the end of it, what is it that I want to know about myself? And I began to realize that part of why I was feeling my health was deteriorating, and, I gained weight and all this stuff, wasn't because of my circumstances so much anymore. It was because of the self-talk that I had developed that was really, really vicious and angry. So, I was angry with myself for gaining weight, with my body, with, and the vicious self-talk around all that. I went, oh my goodness, I am the one that created this toxicity by all that self-talk and not caring for my body. And so I was able to reset, if you will, and I'm really intentionally not making that my default anymore. I am really focusing on interacting with my physical being in a way that is positive and kind and loving, and I'm speaking kind and loving words and to it, and that kind of a thing. Kind of like when they say when you talk to a plant, it grows.
Exactly.
I'm doing the same thing with my body. I mean, not that my body's going to grow, but it's going to be healthier, And I feel it. So when that man said that this morning, I was like, yeah, but you know what? I got a whole new thing. I'm not listening to that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Because it does start with you. We have to love ourselves right where we are. Not when we get to a certain point, or not when this happened, but right where we are right now, you've got to love yourself. And from that love, other things will grow that will inspire you to do different things for your body. But if you constantly are beating your body up, beating you up mentally, then the things that you go to will not support what you're wanting. They actually take away.
That's right. They diminish you.
Totally.
So, Gino Walker, there's the 2 million downloads of inspiration, you are also blogging every day. So let's talk about that a little bit, because that's a big commitment. You're going to blog every day for 40 days.
Yes. I blog every day for 40 days.
So how do people get to your blog? Because I've read it, and I love what you're saying. And you're doing it twice a day, I've noticed sometimes.
No, there may be the other blog that's repeating.
Oh,
but
okay.
it's one new blog every day, and it's Inspire the World, the number 2, .blogspot.com. But they can also go to my Facebook page, the 2 million downloads of inspiration on Facebook. The blog hits there.
Uh-huh.
It's in Google. It's on my Twitter, G Got Love, my Twitter. You'll hear the blog will hit there as well. So it hits a lot of the different medias, and also you can also sign up for the blog to receive it via email as well. Inspire the World, the number 2, .blogspot.com.
Oh my goodness!
It's really been very wonderful, and I thought it was going to be really challenging, but it's been a very easy flow for me. Inspiration, because that's the energy and the focus that we're involved in. There's always something throughout the day that's inspiring me. So there is just a cornucopia of things that have been flowing through for me to write. It's been really, really beautiful. And sometimes there's video that I'll put up of people that are telling how they go within, how they stay inspired, things that they do. It's just really fabulous to see people starting to participate in a way of sharing how they stay inspired, the things they do to receive inspiration, and the things they do to enjoy it. So it's really, really fabulous.
Okay, so you're using all these different internet modalities, some of which really, I have to be honest, I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
But so people can then respond to your blog via your Facebook page?
Yes, they can.
Oh, awesome. And pass other inspirational things to each other.
Absolutely. They can comment. There are other things that people are posting on there that they can comment about. And it's really just to keep everybody in the energy and focused on this is what we're doing. This is where we're living at right now. We're participating in inspiration. We're participating in sharing ideas about being inspired. We're participating with pictures that show inspiration and create a feeling of joy and expansion. So it's really beautiful. Some people have started to post books that they like to read. I just love how the energy is starting to open up, and people are really getting into it and enjoying being a part of this inspirational.
Well, and I got to tell you, that to me sounds like a lot more fun than complaining about what's happening in the world or the government or whatever. That just sounds like a lot more fun.
Absolutely.
Of course, that's my thing anyway.
And a lot more control of staying in the joy.
Yeah, definitely. So, again, it's 2 million downloads of inspiration.
Yeah.
And people can go to ginosings.com. There's also your Facebook. I wrote down facebook.com /2 million.
Yeah, it's facebook.com/2 million.
Okay. And the blogging is so, everybody, just to be in touch with it on a daily basis, in touch with inspiration on a daily basis, that I think is valuable to check in with Gino Walker and see what she's inspired about today. And you know what? That's true. When you said it, there's a cornucopia. I think that's true for everybody, no matter where we are in our life, whether we're in the pits or we're happy, it's important to look outside of ourselves and see what inspires us.
Absolutely.
And witness it and notice it and recognize it instead of zipping through our day to get to the next destination so we can get the other thing done so we can go home and hit the remote.
And, it's those moments, because in that time, you're not in the now. And if you're not present to the now moment, that means you're either in the past or you're worrying about the future. And either one of those places, it takes you out of the enjoyment and the magic that's happening right before your eyes that you can't see.
Gino Walker, I just love and adore you as always. Thank you so much for joining us on Living Your Inspired Life. And I want to encourage everybody to take up Gino's challenge of 2 million downloads of inspiration and get her song, Everything is Possible. So I'm just going to finish with, and so it is, namaste.